Good morning and thank you for having me. I'm here to talk about mental health in schools. As someone who suffers from mental health conditions, I feel the school systems are not taking all the necessary precautions and steps to help people like me. 74.5 million children in the United States suffer from mental health disorders that affect their ability to learn and function normally in a classroom environment. I've been a student in the school district for 13 years, and it is now that I'm pleading with you, the Board of Education, to adapt the public school policies to better help all students that suffer from mental illnesses like me. To help these struggling children, schools need increased numbers of therapists in the building, not just guidance counselors, which, by the way, should also be increased, but that's another conversation for another day. School is the best place to provide mental health services to children in need, as it allows normal interaction in actual environments students struggle with in real time. Some children cannot afford help outside of school, or their parents will not entertain the idea that their child is struggling. That said, therapists would provide services to those children who need it. Counseling or therapy are one of the few ways to lessen the effects of mental health disorders without taking medication. CBT and DBT therapies help teach the individual skills that will help them get through situations that are stressful and cause great anxiety. The environment in schools is the perfect place to have interventions and communicate between schools, families, and therapists. Staff, students, and parents need to be better educated on mental health. Students should be educated on different mental health conditions and how they can affect the individuals and their peers. Teachers should be educated on how it could affect their students' academic performance. Parents should also be educated on the signs of mental illness and taught how to help their child or children who are affected. Mental health conditions are not always obvious to the people around them. Many people suffer in silence. They seek to be invisible and they do not draw attention to themselves. Personally, I took that route. My teachers would never have known that I am suffering, as I'm a good student, follow the rules, and care about doing well in school. That said, I struggle when put on the spot. I'm easily overwhelmed with things that most people say is no big deal. I see the situation as I can't get out of it and I don't know what to do. Telling me it isn't a big deal is not helpful. Other students will act out verbally, physically, or emotionally. The sad reality is that mental health is a real thing, and it requires intentional attention with students. Board, without mental health services in schools, children who do not get the help outside of school will continue to suffer, and suffering is not what we want for our children. Good mental health is important for children to succeed in school and life. Without it, children could go down the wrong path. Mentally healthy children that get support are more likely to do better in school. Kids that struggle with mental health issues are more likely to get poor grades or even drop out. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, 1 in 5 children experience a mental health issue during their school years, and 60% of kids do not get the help. It is so important that we help the children and get them the services they need to better themselves. Suicide rates would go down for students and grades would go up. It is fair to acknowledge that schools historically have not been equipped to be psychologists, therapists, or doctors. Education has been the district's primary role because it is a school. As with many industries, a primary focus of expertise is known and expected. Take, for example, a dentist. A dentist wouldn't try to tell you how to get a home loan. A school environment has a unique opportunity to impact a population early on. As each generation enters in schools today, we are more aware of mental health and its long-term impact on a person. Talking about it and getting early intervention will directly affect a student's ability to interact with teachers and others as they mature and grow. The district needs to pivot with the changing demographics of their customers, which would be the students. To recap, schools need mental health professionals to help students with mental illnesses so they may grow up and become members of society that are able to function and adapt in situations that are constantly changing. Board, you can help shape this messaging and impact on many students with this change. Thank you for your time and consideration.